They are on a common list, meaning there's no special concern or endangered portion of this species. They are completely common where they are. Nonetheless, we get a lot into rehab because the more common a bird of prey is, the more people are going to hurt them, the more people are going to find them. If you think about how many birds of prey we take in every year, you can imagine that we're not taking in them all. There are many birds of prey that get hit by cars that never get help, or get poisoned that never get help. So when we take in barred owls, it's because there's just lots of them that are out there getting hurt. So Willow came to us like a lot of our other birds. She got hit by a car, a lot of owls do. And owls most often get hit by cars on rainy nights. And it's not because it's wet and they lose a little bit of friction there and they kind of spin out. It's actually because these birds, they cannot hear in the rain. These birds, they hunt with their hearing. They're not sight-oriented predators. They actually use their hearing to find their prey. Their eyes are large to let in light. So if we had eyes the size of Willow's, we would have grapefruits in our head. That's how big our eyes would be. And if our eyes were that big, we wouldn't be able to move our eyes, just like Willow. Willow cannot move her eyes like us. She cannot look up and down and to the left and to the right. She has to actually move her head. So everyone always thinks that owls can move their head all the way around because owls move their head a lot because that's how they see. So you can see as Willow moves, it's almost looks as if she were boneless in her neck, or her head were on a swivel, or I had a puppet in there that was moving her head around. She can move her head about 270 degrees, which is about 3/4 of the way around, which is pretty far still for a bird or any animal. The reason she's able to do that is if you feel the bumps on the back of your neck, we have vertebrae in our spine. We have 7 in our neck region. Owls are really special. They have twice as many. They have 14. And that makes them twice as flexible and makes them able to actually move their head to have a full range of vision. But if you've ever wondered why an owl has a face that almost looks like a satellite dish, it's not because of their eyes, it's actually because of their ears. Her ears sit on either side of her facial disc here, and what her facial disc does is it draws in sound. And her ears, in this species, they actually sit asymmetrically, meaning one sits up here, one sits down here. So if we had ears like that, it would look pretty crazy because our ears would be off-centered. The reason she has that is because when she sits up in a tree, her hearing is good enough to hear a mouse 2 feet under the snow. As she's perched here on my arm, her hearing is sensitive enough to hear my heartbeat. So you hope that she has her flaps over her ears right now because it must be really loud as I talk right now. Thankfully, they do adapt. They have ability to censor the amount of sound coming into their ears. But when she is full on ears open, that's how sensitive her hearing is. You can imagine she doesn't like kids' birthday parties for that reason. So if we have a really crazy birthday party, we bring a lot of hawks, not a lot of owls. If we have a really visually crazy party, meaning balloons, things like that, we'll bring the owls because they don't care what they're seeing, they're caring about what they're hearing, versus the hawks, they're the opposite. They don't care what's around them hearing, they care about what's being around them that they can see. So the sound hits her face and it draws it into her ears and she hears them, and she actually swoops down on silent wings. So all owls fly silently, which is pretty cool. It's why they actually feel so much softer. So after we have her out, you actually can come on over to the table. We have a preserved barred owl and red-tailed hawkwing, so you can actually feel the difference of them. Owls feel much softer. And this time of year is sort of my favorite time of year as a rehabber. It's our busiest time of year, but it's the time of year where we get lots of baby owls in, or baby calls for owls. And 90% of the time, the baby's fine, and the baby can be left alone. A lot of our owls calls this year have been as simple as leave it alone, it's fine, it's doing natural fledging process. So when an owl falls out of its nest, it's a myth that if you touch it or get your scent all over it, the mom's going to reject it. In fact, you can take that owl and put in another owl and another owl, because mom owls cannot smell or count. So you can put in foreign owls in their nest and they don't even care. They'll still take care of them. Their maternal instinct is that strong. So 90% of the time we're re-nesting our birds, meaning we're taking them and putting them back in the nest when they fall out. But sometimes their nest is destroyed for real, or their parent does get shot or hit by a car. Something happens to one of the parents, and we have to take the babies into rehab for whatever reason. Willow's really important, and she's actually doing this right now as we speak. She's very upset because we took her on a program today when she should be busy raising her babies.